Hello everyone, it's Tuesday, June 30th. I'm Stephanie Haney. Welcome back to 3 News Now for your afternoon update on the top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We've just gotten the latest numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health related to COVID-19 here in Ohio, and just to give you a summary of what's going on, the cases are up, the death numbers are up, the hospitalizations are up, and the ICU numbers have stayed the same here in Ohio. Now, we talked about this on the early update today, how that 21-day average is creeping up because of the high numbers that we're seeing, because that's how averages work. If you have an extremely low number, it pulls the average down. If you have an extremely high number, it pulls the average up. So to give you an idea of the change that we're seeing, yesterday the 21-day average had been pulled all the way up to 581. We started the month of June with a 21-day average of 325 new daily reported cases, and today we've pulled that average up even more. The new 21-day average is now 601. So that average is creeping up after we did see a stretch that we had numbers of new cases reported in the 300s and the 400s. That unfortunately is not where we are right now. Today we saw 743 new reported cases of COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio, bringing that total to now 51,789 confirmed and probable cases of COVID-19, dating all the way back to March 9th. The total number of deaths has also increased quite a bit from yesterday, and it is well above the 21-day average. So let's hope that we don't start to see that average number get pulled up like we are seeing with the case numbers. But today we saw 45 new deaths reported related to COVID-19. That's up from 11 new deaths reported yesterday and 3 new deaths reported the day before that. That brings the total number of deaths here in Ohio to 2,863. And again, the 21-day average for new daily reported deaths is 21 at this time. The total number of hospitalizations is now at 7,839, with 93 new hospitalizations reported in the last 24 hours. That's up from 65 new hospitalizations reported on Monday and 57 new hospitalizations reported on Tuesday. That is definitely not the direction we want those numbers to be going, but that's the direction that they're going right now. The total number of ICU admissions is now 1,994, and that has stayed the same in terms of new ICU admissions from yesterday. We saw 15 new ICU admissions reported today. That's the exact same number that we saw reported on Monday. Both of those are down from Sunday when we saw 30 new ICU admissions. Let's take a look at the national and the global numbers as we do each day in the afternoon 3 News Now update. The total number of cases of COVID-19 in the U.S. is now just over 2.6 million. And the total number of deaths in the U.S. is now 126,260. Now, if we look at the number of reported cases and the number of reported deaths, both confirmed and probable in the U.S., we are looking at still 25% of the known global cases and the known global deaths. The total number of cases now globally is 10,360,882, and the total number of deaths globally is now 507,014. This comes as Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is the top infectious disease expert in the U.S., says that we could get to a point where we see 100,000 new cases of COVID-19 reported daily here in the U.S. Let's bring it back to Northeast Ohio today with some disappointing news. The Cleveland Black Lives Matter mural on East 93rd Street has been defaced. It stretches several blocks between Bessemer and Heath Avenues in Cleveland's East 93rd Street area, and our 3 News videographers and photographers went there this morning to capture pictures of what people wrote on the mural, defacing it after people put in a lot of hard work to celebrate the lives of people here in our community. Some of the things that were written on there include "Stop killing each other." Random Acts of Kindness Everywhere founder and comedian Ricky Smith, who helped bring the mural together, was very disappointed by this. He posted on Twitter saying that thousands of people have left their comfort zones to go check out the amazing work. He added that he's not going to let one person mess up the energy of thousands who poured energy into this. He also continued on Twitter that he's going to go buy some paint And he's going to touch up that work today, and that he's thankful that the weather is good today. So hopefully Ricky gets out there and he finds some support out there and people coming together to touch up that defacing of that Black Lives Matter mural on East 93rd Street. Really disappointing to see that. Here's some news related to the display of the Confederate flag here in Ohio. The Wayne County Fair will be prohibiting the sale and the display of the Confederate flag this year. They announced this on Facebook today. They said this: over the past few years, the Wayne County Fair Board has been in the middle of a debate. One side asking us to ban the display and the sale of the Confederate flag, and one side asking us to preserve the First Amendment freedom of speech. The board continued, the Wayne County Fair Board has made the decision to not allow the sale or the display of the Confederate flag and or memorabilia and other related items by our vendors at the Wayne County Fair. They went on to explain their decision. They said, after careful consideration of all aspects in regards to this topic that includes safety and security, as well as the patrons that are affected by our decisions, we believe that this is the time to support our community and especially those who protect and serve us. So in addition to pressure from the community, the Worcester School Board's District Board of Education was set to vote tonight on a measure that would have restricted marketing and school district participation at the 2020 Wayne County Fair if they did have the sale of offensive merchandise, which included the Confederate flag. Now, the Wayne County Fair is not the first fair to do this. Just last week, vendors at the Medina County Fair mutually agreed to no longer sell or display the Confederate flag. So here's an important distinction to make here. Yes, we're talking about these things that are called the county's fairs, but this can be a little bit confusing because these fairs are often run by not-for-profit corporations. They are not often run by the county themselves, though they are called the county fair. So that means that these governing bodies can make restrictions on speech that the county government, that the city government, that the local government, that the state government can't make, because there was some discussion about banning this at a statewide level, and that's just not something that the state can do because of constitutionally protected First Amendment free speech rights. So keep that in mind. It's a little bit confusing, but that is worth breaking out and breaking down there for you. The Centers for Disease Control, doctors are now warning that the U.S. is far from containing COVID-19. This is according to Dr. Ann Shuachat. She says the coronavirus is spreading too quickly and too broadly here in the U.S. to believe that we will have it under control anytime soon. Overall, the U.S. has experienced a sharp increase in the number of new coronavirus cases each day, and by late June surpassed the peak rate of spread in early April. We talked about that a couple days ago. Dr. Shuachat said we're not in the situation of New Zealand or Singapore or Korea, where a new case is rapidly identified and then all of those contacts are traced and people are isolated who are sick and people who are exposed or quarantined, and they can keep those things under control. We're just not in that situation here in the U.S. New Zealand has been praised globally for its response to COVID-19, and after a very strict lockdown, the nation, which has a population of about 5 million people, had eliminated community transmission, at least for now. Shuachat added that she believes this is just the beginning of the virus. That's something that we're hearing from many medical professionals as we continue to talk about this. She says, I think there was a lot of wishful thinking around the country that, hey, summer's here, everything's going to be fine, we're over this, and we are not even beginning to be over this. That's what Dr. Shuachat says. This is a great reminder that many medical professionals continue to tell us to wear a mask in public, practice that physical distancing, stay home if you can. If you are able to continue to work from home, many companies are continuing that, and hopefully we can get this thing under control and we will see what happens. Also here in Northeast Ohio, the Greater Cleveland Food Bank will be holding 2 separate drive-thru distributions this week ahead of 4th of July weekend. So the first one will take place tomorrow, Wednesday, July 1st. I cannot believe tomorrow is July 1st, but it is. I think I say that at the beginning of every month these days. This morning I didn't even know what day it was, so we do know it's Tuesday, June 30th. Tomorrow is Wednesday, July 1st, and that is wild. Anyway, the first distribution will be tomorrow, Wednesday, July 1st, at Parma Senior High School, and that's going to be from 2 to 5 o'clock. That is at 6285 West 54th Street in Parma. The second one will take place where we're used to seeing it at the Cleveland Municipal Lot on Thursday. That'll be from 2 to 5 p.m. That address, if you're driving here from somewhere else and you're not immediately familiar with where the municipal lot is 1503 South Marginal Road in Cleveland. The food bank says that fresh produce and dairy will be available at both locations, but people are strongly encouraged to pre-register for the events ahead of time on the Greater Cleveland Food Bank's website. After pre-registering, you will get a number for the event that you'll have to display on your car window as part of the check-in process. So you need to pre-register. Remember, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, all guests will need to have a clean trunk for food to be placed in, and you have to stay in your car for the duration of the distribution. So you'll pop your trunk, they'll put it in your trunk. They won't be opening any doors, they won't be putting it anywhere else. It has to go in your trunk, and absolutely no walk-ups will be allowed at either of these distributions. To pre-register and find out a little bit more information, you can visit wefeedcle.org. We also have that linked on WKYC.com and in our WKYC app. If you don't yet have our app, you can download that in the App Store if you have an iOS device, or in the Google Play Store if you have an Android device, so that you can do things like get the most up-to-date information about what we have going on WKYC.com and all of our shows. And you can stream all of our shows live in the WKYC app. That includes What's New at 5 p.m., where I bring you the entertainment headlines and also the top trending stories at that time, as well as What Matters Most at 6 p.m., Front Row at 7 p.m., and What's Next at 11 p.m. That's it for your afternoon 3 News Now update. I'll be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. with the top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I'll see you at 5 on What's New, and I'll see you tomorrow here at 11 a.m. I'm Stephanie Haney.